Hello everyone, as many of you are well aware, I've been responding to smaller YouTubers on this channel for quite some time. Now granted, I have been trying to change up the content on this channel to focus on more political things. I was getting on the right track with that by making my video about the differences between Andrew Ryan and Mr. House. But someone from a certain community talked about me in a video recently, and he really pissed me off. Guess which community it is? That's right, it's the ArtCC. Now I know a few people who clicked on this video are gonna ask me, wait, what's the ArtCC? Basically, they're commentators who use avatars, or they draw in the background as they talk. I recently did a video on Doodle Tone, so if you want more information about this community, go check that out. Just think of it as the Leafy Clone commentary community, but way more autistic. The subject of today's video is a very small commentator by the name of VincentSkullMan. Because of his size and my very toxic fan base, I thought it would be best if I talked about him on my smaller channel and not my bigger channel. Now for some reason, people are gonna twist this into me flexing about my views or flexing that I have a toxic fan base for some reason.
And if you've seen the drama I've had with Doodle Tones, you can understand how toxic my fan base can be. They will keep attacking someone over and over and over again.
Imagine bragging about how toxic your fan base can be. That's disappointing.
Guys, I'm gonna be real here. I wish my fan base wasn't so toxic. And me pointing out that someone is smaller than me doesn't mean I think I'm a big YouTuber or anything like that. If Turkey Tom made a video on me and said, hey, I'm about 6 times bigger than this guy, please don't harass him, I wouldn't count that as a flex. I would just count that as him pointing out reality. I know a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes thinking that this is super obvious, but trust me, a lot of people lack common sense, and they like to twist my points against me. Now about a year ago, VincentSkullMan made a video on me, during a time I was stepping away from making drama videos so I could focus on media reviews. He was a lot smaller than me and my channel was doing amazing at the time. God, my channel is completely dead from what it used to be. He didn't understand the context of certain things that happened behind the scenes, so I wanted to talk things out with him privately. Initially, he agreed to do a call with me, but then he blew me off for several months. Eventually, Lio Convoy convinced him to join a call with me, and we had a one-on-one call. Lio wasn't involved, neither was my roommate. It was just me and VincentSkullMan. I was as nice as I could be with him, and I eventually convinced him to take the video about me down. I thought that would be the last time I would ever have to interact with VincentSkullMan, but this is the ArtCC. Dramas can never die until someone is permanently cancelled. Now, a lot of you may think that I went to pretty drastic lengths just to get one small video about me taken down. Well, the thing is, I didn't want to do a video on this guy because I was getting roughly 100k per video back then, and that would have sent him an absolutely massive wave of hate. Let's be real here, VincentSkullMan is a pretty sensitive guy. I don't think he could handle that. Now sure, it was a small video, and in any other community I would have ignored a video like this. But in the ArtCC, small sparks can turn into massive fires if they're not put out quick enough. I just didn't want to deal with another ArtCC drama a few years down the line. It took me literal years to get everything settled. Me and Doodle Tones were on good terms, Luke was gone, Creepshow Art was gone, Kai and Omnia were gone, but they're back now. I thought it was best to let sleeping dogs lie. I wanted everything to be over already, because I've been dealing with ArtCC drama for literal years at this point, and I'm still dealing with it! If you've seen Lin Lin's most recent video on VincentSkullMan, then you would know about the oopsie he made that caused him to leave the ArtCC for a very long time. Honestly, I wish he stayed gone and just focused on his horror content. Not for my sake, but for his own sake. Fuck this community, it damages your mental health so much. Basically, Lin Lin also did a video on me, and don't worry, I will be getting to that video in the future. Because Lin Lin had a smaller channel than mine, and also because she was a minor and trans, I decided it was best if I talked things out with her instead of making a video on her. Now we did talk things out, she admitted to getting pretty much everything wrong, but she did not take the video down. Now it's her choice if she wants to leave it up or take it down. I already did my part trying to talk things out diplomatically. In the future, I'll go over the problems I have with Lin Lin's video on me, but for now I'm here to focus on VincentSkullMan. As soon as the call between me, Lio, and Lin Lin started, I realized that VincentSkullMan told her things I did not actually say.
So he cropped this part. Is this all he sent you, Lin Lin?
Yeah, I can
take an actual screenshot of what he had sent to me. So let's.
Yeah, please show us what he said to you, because I'm getting kind of tired of Vincent like being stupid about things just in general.
That's fine. We'll take this. Go.
Like, honestly, Leo Convoy, I'm thinking about just uploading like mini videos to Twitter instead of tweeting from here on out. Like, just do a Keemstar.
It might not hurt, because like it'll get you a lot less grief, just overall. Especially when you still have the Fox Mafia dorks running around and saying really stupid.
Here we are.
Okay, so let me read this out. I don't know how to start this message, but Jar came to me talking about your video and wanted me to convince you to take it down. He read those DMs. That is not what was said. He said to relay.
But like, what?
Yeah, he said to relay what was talked about in the call we had, but it just makes me think he hasn't seen the whole video, considering he covered more than just the Twitter stuff. This is editorializing. Even then, you touched on stuff which I hadn't in the original breakdown of the event, so it feels kind of pointless to go over the context he gave me about himself and Harley. I'll give my thoughts in a minute. The screenshots of their DMs are collected in a document which I can go over if wanted, which he does not have the right to share with people because, whatever. Regardless, Jar said that they were worried about the hate which you would receive, but this may just be an attempt to pressuring you into dropping the video, considering this is what he sent me regarding the hate you are currently receiving? And it sounds like he will make a video public responsible. What is this?
Realistically, like, it feels like he could be like referring to the call that he had with Jar previously, but realistically, I'm not entirely sure that that's like really a good idea anyway, given how we can't really prove it.
Well, I listened to that call. Jar didn't do anything like that in that call.
And I couldn't because your video wasn't out yet.
Yeah, the call with Jar and Vincent happened like, what, 2 weeks before the video dropped?
Yeah, and then I had a call with Oranges 2 days after Lin Lin's video dropped.
Yeah. So Lin Lin says, I was going to say, getting what hate exactly? The video getting dislikes is a surprise, given how someone who has helped me out before, but realistic, Lee Jar's audience of anti-SJW enjoys, or people who obviously wouldn't like the video anyway. That's true. And Vincent says, I'm just here telling you what he told me, which, by the way, he didn't. I have no qualms with the video, considering that you were able to pick up and tear apart.
After me and Lin Lin talked things out, Lio Convoy pulled VincentSkullMan into a Senate call. And yes, me and Lin Lin were both present for that call with VincentSkullMan. However, roughly half a year ago, Lio Convoy started getting massive amounts of backlash. Now I am working on a video about Lio Convoy. Maybe it's an exposed video, maybe it's a defense, but you're gonna have to wait until it comes out. The point is, VincentSkullMan tried to ride the fuck Lio Convoy wave to get out of the fact that he lied and admitted to lying. Now, if you think Lio Convoy is the worst man on the internet, you still should not accept every negative thing anyone says about him as gospel. That also goes for any drama about any big figure on the internet. Anyways, let's get on with VincentSkullMan's video. I can't deal with this anymore.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
If you want more information about the conflict between me, VincentSkullMan, and Lin Lin, I would recommend checking out Lin Lin's video. I did try to talk her out of making the video because VincentSkullMan was really small and I thought it would be best to just ignore him, but since she already made the video, you guys might as well go check it out. I do have my own hangups with Lin Lin, but if a video provides more context to a situation, I should still tell people about it whether I like the person who made the video or not. I'm just gonna play a few clips from her video to give you guys a quick rundown. Now, I'm not gonna be too mean to VincentSkullMan in this video. He's pretty sensitive, and I also see a lot of potential in him to become a great YouTuber. The first thing I noticed about this video is that the likes and dislikes are disabled, and that's never a good sign. Especially when you consider the fact that you can only see the dislikes now if you have a YouTube browser extension. All the comments underneath the video do seem positive, so it's possible that he deleted all the negative ones.
I don't want to sit idle any longer with my untrue narrative being left over my head, considering I know what truly happened.
Yeah, man, I've been there before plenty of times, so I totally understand where you're coming from.
I don't want to return to commentary.
No one does, it just keeps pulling people back in somehow.
I didn't lie to Lin Lin maliciously when I sent that message.
Oh, okay, so you did lie, it was just not a malicious lie. I see.
And when Lio instantly turned down my explanation, I panicked.
Well, he probably turned it down because it wasn't a good explanation. All the evidence pointed to you lying.
Some time passes and Lin Lin makes their video on Jar, which is when Jar messages me again asking to pass on the message of what we talked about to Lin Lin, since the communication between the two of them was non-existent. Now, this is where things change. Without confirming whether the message was accurate to Jar's wishes, I sent it to Lin Lin and left it at that, not thinking anything of it after the fact, as I had done what was asked, but there was numerous flaws in the message itself, most notably being that I said that Jar would want Lin Lin's video taken down, which was never the case.
Yes, that's what made it so confusing to me and her as well. I can't even begin to imagine how you came to that conclusion. You could have just screenshotted our comments and sent it to her.
I had simply copy and pasted everything from the call into a message. Even if it was a misunderstanding on my end, it doesn't take from the fact it could have caused numerous issues had the two of them not got into contact to talk things over. I am still very apologetic in that regard, as I caused stress for both Just a Robot and Lin Lin over something that could have easily been avoided altogether had I not been hasty, careless, and overconfident in myself.
Well, I'm very glad that you're actually taking responsibility for that. Good on you, mate.
From that message being sent, Leah would add me and basically gave me the equivalent of a court hearing where I would have to come into the Senate to face the music for what I had done. Eventually, I requested that the call be moved forwards, and voila.
Yeah, that is a big issue I have with Senate. I wish there was just a call between me, you, Lio, and Lin Lin. When you have roughly 100 people in the call listening in to what you're saying, it can make you nervous and cause you to slip up.
That's how I ended up with the quote-unquote admitting to having gotten bitter and trying to manipulate Lin Lin into starting drama with Just a Robot. As you can see from my real explanation of things, it was a misunderstanding rather than me getting all pissy about being criticized. Really, it doesn't make sense as to why I would have acted out, considering this was all private, and in public I have remained civil when responding to criticism if the comments left under Lin Lin and Doodletone's videos were anything to go by.
Okay, Vincent, I hate to break it to you, but showing that you're civil with criticism in public doesn't mean you're not civil with criticism in private. To everyone who is subscribed to me, you know about my public persona, but you don't know what I'm doing in private. I could be going to the pet store to pick up guinea pigs and slowly kill them one by one.
Even then, during my quarrel with Moomin, all that time ago, I tried to use evidence where I could to support my arguments, rather than just make stuff up. Obviously, the whole raid thing was an idiotic notion to follow, but I only went with it because I thought I had evidence from an irrefutable source. What a fool I was, and a shame I took so long to pull out of it.
Okay, so I can believe that VincentSkullMan wasn't making up stuff about Moomin. He just genuinely believed the evidence Harley presented to him. But VincentSkullMan, you getting stuff wrong about Moomin isn't the main problem people have with you. The main problem people have is that you refuse to correct this mistake for several months. I've gotten stuff wrong about Daft Pina, and because of one point I got wrong, I had to edit out an entire third of one of the videos I did on him. Not because the entire third of that video was wrong, but I couldn't edit out that point without drastically changing the video. So I had to take out an entire third just to make it flow properly. When I got stuff wrong about Peaches, I took that video down and gave her all the money that video made. So yeah, I lost money on that Peaches video because I hired someone to edit it. You have no excuse for standing behind that Moomin video for so long. Sometimes people get things wrong, sometimes people lie. But when someone knows they got something wrong and they refuse to correct it, it might as well be a lie.
Lio knew, A, I was shit scared of him, and B, I have some social issues. The latter getting worse the more people present, let alone who the individuals may be themselves.
Then you should have refused to join the Senate call. I'm a little shocked that more people haven't done that, but there's no way he can force you into it unless he has your docs or something. When I first met Lio, he tried to pull me into a Senate call and I just told him, no, let's just talk things out in private. And it worked! If you're scared of Lio, just don't interact with him or block him. And yeah, I can clearly tell that you have social issues, but so do a lot of other people in the ArtCC.
I had confirmed such with my call with Jar, which, to my surprise, was recorded without me being made aware, but then also shown to who knows how many people after the fact.
Don't take this the wrong way, VincentSkullMan, but you're part of the ArtCC. I don't trust anyone from the ArtCC. For the last year, I've been recording all the calls I have with people from the ArtCC, because I don't trust them. People have claimed I said things in calls that I've never once said. So that's why I always record the calls so I can prove to people, no, I didn't say that.
Jar had a civil conversation with you, and before you try to lie to me, yes, I did hear it. I did listen to it.
Jar didn't tell me he was going to do so when I went into that one-on-one call, not even considering that potentially happening.
I've only shown the call to 2 people, Lio and Lin Lin. And I only shared the call with Lin Lin after we had the Senate call with you. As for why I showed it to Lio, I wanted to see if he had any criticisms for how I conducted myself in our call.
If that wasn't bad enough, then I got scolded for leaking private DMs to Lin Lin via a document I was given, which confused me considering such logic could be reflected back onto Jar for leaking a call we had where I gave no permission for him to do so.
You know what, Vincent? Fair point. I should have made you aware that I was recording the call. Granted, I do live in a one-party consent state, but legality doesn't equal right. I should have told you, and that's my bad. Granted, this is an issue Lin Lin and Lio had with you and not me, but whatever.
It's because Lin Lin has a right to know and to confront you. I want to know, why did you objectively lie to Lin Lin?
I flat out lied to Lin Lin because I was supposed to relay a message from Jar to them and completely misunderstood what was meant to be passed over to Lin Lin due to my own incompetence.
Here's the thing.
This is where everything falls apart.
Okay, Vincent, Lio didn't really sound all that scary there. Also, your excuse just doesn't sound believable at all. I asked you to ask Lin Lin to have a private conversation with me, and you twisted that into me wanting you to ask her to take her video down. I understand that I'm dyslexic, but I really can't see at all where the miscommunication happened. Did I want Lin Lin to take her video down? Yes, but I didn't ask you to ask her to do that. If we had a conversation and she came to the conclusion that she should take it down, then it's up to her if she should leave the video up or not. I cannot force her to do anything. She took the first video she made on Spockter down because of all the hate she got. Me asking for a call is a courtesy on my part. Like, if the video is probably going to be taken down regardless, I might as well talk things out with the other person without sending them a massive amount of hate.
So far, I have been truthful and upfront despite how little time has passed, and outright stated why I had been summoned on this occasion, only for it to be cast aside with the implication of lying instead. Lio reads off my messages that I had with Jar, and how he wanted me to relay what the call I had with him was about, whilst I showed hesitance. Real hesitance, not like a, oh, I don't want to be involved, whilst rubbing my hands together like some sort of villain. Obviously, you'll have to take Lio's spoken word as fact here, considering I purged my Discord DMs of anything commentary related and haven't got anything to show as a result.
The thing is, people are not taking Lio, my, or Lin Lin's word on this. People just believe our side of the story because we have evidence to support our claim, and you don't have evidence to disprove it.
Unless I can get them back in some way, you'll have to bear with me until I can find out how to retrieve them or someone lets me know how. After that, he reads out my message to Lin Lin, which we've covered prior, and I'm left scrambling as to what I can respond with. A quick edit I want to make is I managed to get back the screenshot thanks to Lin Lin's second video on myself, which shows most of what was discussed. As you may be able to tell, that message was me more or less wanting a peaceful outcome for the two considering how I spoke about it. Hell, anything past the first sentence is me more or less uncertain as to why I was relaying the events of my call with Jar, since I felt ill-fitted to do so when looking at the broader range of topics that were brought up in Lin Lin's critique of Jar.
Vincent, if you felt like that, then you could have said no to me. After all, you weren't the only person I asked. I think I asked Lio Convoy as well.
Sure, there was the Twitter stuff, but it would have made more sense for him to try and get in contact, as they later did, whilst cutting me out entirely.
Vincent, I was trying to get into contact with her. I believe she blocked me or something, but that's why I went to you first.
I understand me being involved with a spare Jar sometime from going back over things that were formally discussed already, but had he done it himself, then it could have potentially have provided clarity which I lacked if Lin Lin had pressed on certain aspects.
Okay, I'm starting to see where the miscommunication happened. Or maybe VincentSkullMan is just misremembering things. I had absolutely no intention for Vincent to go over what I went over with him with Lin Lin. I just wanted to get him to get her to unblock me so we could talk things out.
My supposed bitterness doesn't fit in with the part where I mentioned my hope that everything would calm down with Jar considering their mention of hate being lackluster to begin with, and seems to be a knee-jerk assumption that Lin Lin would face backlash.
Okay, Vincent, I'm not trying to say you're guilty of lying, but this in no way proves that you're innocent. If you were trying to get me and Lin Lin to dislike one another even more, saying that you hope things around me cool down doesn't disprove if you were lying to her or not. This is like manipulation 101. I do hope things between you and your husband work themselves out. By the way, I believe I saw him with another woman the other day. Again, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that this proves that Vincent is guilty, I'm just saying it doesn't prove that he's innocent.
Besides everything else that transpired between the three of us, nothing bad actually came from the video itself.
The video where Lin Lin heavily implied that if you buy Hogwarts Legacy, you're transphobic. Vincent, trust me, when I go over that video, you will see all the bad that came from it.
The only reason I made mention of Jar potentially making some kind of response to Lin Lin's video is down to this screenshot where he says the following: "They are young, so I want to handle this privately. I'd rather not send them mountains of hate that they aren't able to handle." To me, it sounded like he would have done something if it wasn't addressed, though the lack of specification certainly makes it hard to tell if it would have been something like a tweet, a community post, or a video besides being some sort of public act, since it would have generated hate.
Vincent, I completely understand why you would get that impression, but the thing is, that impression is accurate. That's exactly what I was trying to do. But that's not in any way what we had a problem with. You can watch both Lin Lin's video and Lio's video on VincentSkullMan. Nowhere did we say nor imply that this was a problem.
In my mind, if I tried telling Lio again that this was just a big misunderstanding and that I had been too eager to end the matter with my message, I knew for certain that he would either start to grow irritated or start shouting.
Yes, but that's because all the evidence was pointing to you lying. If I was in Lio's shoes and I was presented the evidence about what you did, and you just told me it was a big misunderstanding, I would also get irritated.
And thus, I lied. My mind was already in so much of a mess that if Lio had started to yell at me in the darkness of my room, as this was at 1 AM, in front of a crowd of people who may watch me or once looked upon me in a good light, I think I would have literally broken down.
Vincent kind of reminds me of a younger version of myself. Back when I was dealing with the Heather Pack, I broke down and cried a lot. But the thing is, I was screaming and yelling at them, "What did I do? What did I do?" And the only answer I ever got was, "You made someone feel bad or feel unsafe." However, I did not admit to lying about a situation I did not lie about, because that would have made everything way worse for me.
I was more willing to play along with this fake narrative of being bitter than actually admit the truth, because despite everything, I don't feel like I could speak the truth in his presence. That's why I went from being compliant and answering easily to being more vague and slow to respond, because I had to pray that my story was believable enough to escape such a fate.
Vincent, is your line of logic really? Oh no, Lio might get angry and yell at me. Oh, I got it. I'll tell him that I'm a liar. You know, the thing he claims he hates most, and that will keep him from yelling at me. Ha! This plan is foolproof. Vincent, how do you function in public? If a cop suspected you of robbing a bank, would you just tell the cop that you robbed the bank, hoping that this will somehow keep the cop from yelling at you or arresting you? You would rather have people believe that you're a malicious liar, having the entire Art CC turn on you, losing the respect of a lot of your peers, just so Lio wouldn't yell at you. Seriously? And the reason why you couldn't quote-unquote speak the truth in Lio's presence is because you had no way of disproving the allegations against yourself. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this proves that VincentSkullMan is 100% guilty. I'm just saying it doesn't prove that he's innocent in pretty much any way. The thing is, in pretty much any other community, I would say this is a cut and dry case, he's guilty. But ArtCC people are cartoonishly spineless. Remember when Lio Convoy and Hopeless Peaches confronted Spock Spoctor, and the dude literally, not figuratively, crumpled because he crumpled a bag of chips into his microphone.
I think my voice meter started being weird.
I see.
Very weird.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, Spoctor wasn't doing that to troll them, he was genuinely terrified. And the questions they had for him just started. Never forget that fear and anger are the enemy of logic and reason. When you are afraid, you're gonna do stupid stuff. That's why all the characters are so dumb in horror movies. So it's entirely in the realms of possibility that VincentSkullMan was so scared of being yelled at that he decided to admit to lying when he didn't really lie. But still, all the evidence points to him lying.
Without just leaving the call randomly. I didn't want to be labelled anything else besides that which was spoken by my own mouth. That's why Lin Lin could so easily pick up on my rambling and easily call it out when asked what the outcome was expected to be from manipulating them.
Well, given how it seems that at this point these responses amount to little more than word salad that doesn't really bring us anywhere further, I'll pass it back to Leah now.
Vincent, you could have also been talking like that because you got caught in a lie. This does not prove that you're innocent, my guy.
I still enjoyed being around either party. With how Jar would often say that I had the potential to be a good commentary channel, but I didn't want to spoil that considering his status and past experience, so I assumed he actually saw real potential. I trusted in his word that I could be good, and at times it motivated me, but it's obviously off the table now.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely saw potential in you. You seem like a very honest, upstanding guy who put his biases to the side. That's why it shocked me that you did a video on me, refused to get into a call with me for several months, and then told Lin Lin that I wanted her to take her video down when I didn't say that. But then again, this is the Art CC, where lying and backstabbing is the norm.
Here, looking back, I was a coward who just took on the shape of a villain to appease someone, and it cost me so much.
Wow, when you say it like that, it almost sounds like it makes absolutely no sense.
Friends or acquaintances, motivation, mental health, and who knows what else. Not to say I didn't do wrong, we've certainly gone over the fact that I could have caused serious damage with my message had Lin Lin gone ahead and believed it as fact.
Yeah, Lin Lin, a person who has made a video on you before, and me, a guy who got you to take a video down. You had the motivation to do this, so it really does look like you did it.
But there were better ways of diffusing the situation than berating me in front of a bunch of randoms.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I'm not a big fan of how Senate tries to handle things.
All over one message that had no real evidence to show it was coming from a hostile place.
No, there is evidence. You had the motivation to do it, you passed the message from me to Lin Lin that I did not say, and in the call you admitted that you did it because you were bitter. Like, even if VincentSkullMan did 100% lie to Lin Lin about what I said, it seems way more petty than malicious.
You know, for those who are probably saying, well, why didn't you ask to move this to a private environment? Or why didn't you ask to reschedule at a time where you'd be able to do it privately? Or, I need you to understand that I do not do well with authority, because I was raised to never defy it, and if someone holds some kind of power above me, then I'll likely fold unless a differing factor comes into play.
Okay, don't get me wrong, I was also raised like that. My motherboard was an absolute control freak. But even though I was isolated and physically abused growing up, I wasn't this bad. Can you imagine what Vincent would be like in the workplace? Hey Vincent, you're working really hard there. I got a bit of a reward for you. It's, a gumball. Now spit on those fingers. These old hinges ain't getting any younger. I don't want any, boss. Come on. You don't want to defy authority now, do you? In fact, because you're my favorite, I'll let you take 2 gumballs. In all seriousness, a lot of people have a hard time saying no, but even people like that would say no to a Discord call where they know they'll be berated. Hell, Vincent didn't even have to say no, he could have just made a request to have the call privately. And wait, hang on, I just realized something. Vincent, you refused to get into a call with me for months. So So you can refuse me, but not the entire Senate? What?
I learned this from my father, and even now I made to grit my teeth and help do whatever the fuck, because I can't say no.
Well, you said no to me, and if this is really your outlook on things, then you really shouldn't be a YouTuber. When you're a YouTuber, you have to be a leader. When you're a viewer, you're a follower, both figuratively and literally.
It just isn't in my brain to decline or reason. I do as told, lest I be punished for not being compliant. That's the mindset I take into every scenario where it applies.
More punished than making people think you're an evil, lying manipulator?
I think there are like 2 instances where I've had repeated conversations in DMs with other creators, of which being Mally Makes and Harley BTS.
Okay, I'm not making a point here, I just love the way he said Mal's name.
But at least I can try to find my peace with all this now that my truth is out there.
God, I really hate the term my truth. There's no such thing as my truth or your truth. There's just the truth.
Just so it is known, I never hated Just a Robot, never hated or tried to manipulate Lin Lin. I just couldn't state my truth because of the situation and the potential consequences which loomed overhead if I attempted to do so.
Yeah, the consequences of Lio yelling at you, not the consequences with the fact that you had no way to prove your innocence.
I was somehow able to rationalize cannibalizing myself and losing nearly all of my ties to what I had built just to avoid the fury of someone who assumed the worst of me.
Yeah, when you say it like that, you sound completely insane.
And would much more happily throw me out to be a spectacle instead of even considering whether or not this should be done behind closed doors.
I agree, Vincent. We should do this behind closed doors. That's why I came to you to talk things out in the first place. Okay, so here's my ending thoughts on this video. All the evidence points to VincentSkullMan lying. He has a motive to do so. He admitted to doing it until he backtracked in this video. But I don't think there's a 100% chance that he's guilty. He could be telling the truth when he says that he just made a mistake. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume that he was lying about lying, which technically would still make him a liar, but whatever, and that he simply misread my message somehow, even though I don't see how he possibly could have. Like, I'm dyslexic and autistic, and even I wouldn't mistranslate a message like that. Assuming that Vincent is telling the truth in this video, then that would make him the biggest and dumbest pussy in the world. Losing the respect of a community of creators that you love just so a guy won't yell at you is one of the dumbest moves I've seen in a very long time. So either Vincent is a liar, or he's a dumb pussy. Now, after this video was made, Vincent continued his YouTube career by making horror content, until he decided to talk about the commentary community again, and his video really blew up, at least in comparison to what he normally gets in terms of views. This is like the views I get on this channel. Good job, Vincent. But he talked about me in the video, and it gave people a very negative impression of me. It really ticked me off, and I just have to talk about it.
That shit is fucking trash, dog. Get the fuck off the airwaves.
Now, I want to make this clear. I'm not covering this entire video. It's mostly not about me, but a big portion of it is, and I really want to talk about it because he says something that really ticked me off. And it's not just him who's been spreading around this rumor about me, it's a handful of other people. I was planning to talk about this in my Leo Convoy or FCK video, but I might as well nip it in the butt right now.
Originally, Just a Robot came into this whole Tobi situation on a rough note, considering the video made was widely criticized for many reasons.
Isn't it weird that every single video going over my Tobi video has been taken down? Not just 1 or 2, all of them are gone. The names Junkie, Chuli, and Prismate Luke all took their videos down. And Kai and Omnia, well, both of their channels are completely gone, so obviously those videos would be gone too. And before you guys scream at me in the comments, yes, I'm aware Omnia has started a new channel, and yes, I'm aware that Kai goes by Zay and has also started a new channel.
A mix of such has led to a fluctuation in views, but more recently left him on the low end of things.
Okay, one of those videos is a re-upload, so I knew it wasn't going to do good. As for the TikTok video, wow, I was not expecting it to do that poorly. But yeah, my channel has been doing worse this year than ever before. It's so weird that I had my best year on YouTube ever last year, and now I'm having my worst year. I uploaded my 3rd Star Wars video, it didn't do so hot, and somehow that killed my channel.
It just seems a bit redundant to criticize a random video from 2 years ago from a creator that hasn't created content for a good while now, which wasn't even put together well to begin with.
For context, he's talking about my toxic distress video on this channel. It was a quick video that I slapped together in a day, and I wasn't originally planning to cover that video. I was planning to cover Grimsy's video, the guy who originally started the rumor that I was a hypocrite because I say gameplay channels are lazy, even though I myself hire editors. But I didn't say that gameplay commentators are lazy, I just said that their videos are quite easy to make. Because they are. Somehow that was the most controversial take I made in 2022. There was another girl who made a video about this, but for the life of me I can't find her video anymore. The reason why I didn't go over Grimsy's videos is because someone was flagging his videos, so he privated a lot of them. And I was only making videos like that on my channel because I wanted to respond to every single video made on me. But after a while I started getting bored. Response videos are also really easy to make, especially against the people making videos on me. Oh no! Jar thinks the caste system in India is bad. He's a racist.
Toxic Distress didn't really care whether Jar said it was lazy or not, and simply used that line of his to create a video which had a basic idea, and that's it. If he wanted to have fun ripping apart a bad video, then there isn't much else that can be said, since it was for the second channel and he wasn't putting random kid on blast for his main audience, even if they had stopped making content.
Wait, how could you possibly know that? Why did you come to the conclusion that he didn't care if I said gameplay channels were lazy or not? Do you know this kid personally? As for everything else you said, I have a really hard time understanding your point. I did want to have fun ripping apart a bad video, and I agree that there isn't really much else to be said. As for putting a kid on blast, I told people not to attack him, and I put it on my second channel where less people will see it. Also, I think the kid already left YouTube, so he probably won't see any hate comments he gets. Maybe that isn't your point, but for the life of me, I didn't understand what you meant. However, this next point I'm about to get into is even more confusing.
Sure, the videos are good for marking up each case, but in the long run, Camilla had more decayed skeletons in the closet, prison mate Luke was his own worst enemy, Creepshow Art couldn't power through the Emily Artful situation, or that which was revealed on LOLcow, Avrona has remained stagnant, and Spoctor more or less jumped the ship on his own accord to let everything burn, not aided by that which came following his departure, of course. I think that's what Omnia's tweet was trying to get at, rather than Jar criticizing a past friend.
Okay, let me get this straight. You think Omnia's tweet where they say, same guy by the way, is referring to all that stuff you said about Prismate Luke, Creepshow Art, Avrona, Spoctor, and Camilla? How did you even begin to come to that conclusion? Omnia in this tweet is clearly talking about me, not the stuff Avrona, Camilla, and all the others did. Also, Omnia has me blocked, but is still tweeting about me for some reason, even though I've never tweeted at Omnia. So I couldn't even see this tweet until someone sent me a screenshot of it. This is what I think Omnia is trying to say in their tweet. Oh look, Jar is making a video bashing Hopeless Peaches, but he previously made a whole bunch of videos defending them. So that clearly means that all the videos where he previously defended Peaches are absolutely wrong. I don't think Omnia has a problem with me quote-unquote throwing a friend under the bus. Omnia hates Peaches. Now of course this is just a guess on my end, but it's a lot more of an educated guess than assuming that Omnia was talking about how Avrona became stagnant, along with a bunch of other stuff about Camilla, Creepshow, Luke, Spoctor. It's just so weird that you came to that conclusion.
Getting into things, I can't say Jar brings much new stuff to the table itself regarding Hopeless Peaches.
Well, I guess not. Everything was pretty much already covered. But I did show the wrongdoings of Hopeless Peaches to a lot more people. And if I did make this video, yeah, people would have assumed that I was still defending them.
It adds little to the overall narrative and feels more like an excuse for Jar to air out his grievances whilst being like,
I told you, you should have listened to my judgment.
Yeah, I said that to Lio Convoy about Lumi, and that's it. Wow, I'm so smug. Lio Convoy, if you're watching this, next time I don't like one of your mods, keep an eye on them. I have a knack for finding out who and who isn't a snake. Which is exactly why VincentSkullMan parodied what I said instead of playing a clip of what I said. And even if I did make the video just to get my personal grievances out there, okay, well, what's the problem?
Despite it only holding a standing now. Sure, Lumi frequented quite a few spaces, but no one else seemed to have noticed anything was out of the ordinary until until it happened, largely in part to them holding good relations and remaining on the sidelines.
Yes, exactly. That's why it came as such a shock to me that I was the only one who noticed. It was clear to me that Lumi had an aggressive, bad attitude, but everybody else in this corner of the internet seemed to absolutely love Lumi, and I didn't understand why. And yeah, we have evidence of Lumi's wrongdoings now. That's why I never went after them. I had nothing to prove my case. I was starting to believe that everything was just in my head.
Though, if we do backtrack somewhat, you'll have noticed that Jar used Omnia's video when referencing the Rosa call, since it was subtitled and also had pop-ups, which make no sense considering he didn't give credit to Omnia during the runtime and only did so in the description. The average viewer would assume he had done this considering the implementation of Jar's own subtitles, where Omnia had grown tired and stopped doing so, since 3/4 were already subtitled. At that point, Jar should have just added the subtitles himself to the few clips that were present so these pop-ups wouldn't appear so out of left field. Well, he or Lorenzo, since he aided in this video too, which seems more likely considering how Jar should really know better than to take the hard work of someone who dislikes him just to use in his own video.
Wow, even Daft would think that this is too much of a nitpick. Jar gave credit, but not in the video, only in the description. I want to make this clear. It was not my editor Lorenzo who added in these clips. It was absolutely me. But I actually didn't get these clips from Omnia's video. I got the clips from another person who went over the Rosa call. Because of my dyslexia, I wasn't really paying attention to the words on screen. I just got those clips so I could show people what happened in the Rosa call. I don't like Omnia, neither as a creator nor as a person, so obviously I did not use any clips from their video in my video. Well, actually, I guess I did, but I didn't do it intentionally. You guys know what I mean. Once someone pointed this out to me, I gave Omnia credit in the description, despite my hangups with them. For the life of me, I don't see how this is a problem. People have used plenty of clips from my videos in their videos without crediting me, and I don't really care. Okay, at long last, we're getting to the part of his video that really ticked me off.
If I'm going to prod at anything else in this nothing burger of a video, then it would be the way in which he downplays Peaches' relation when it comes back to the FCK. Jar didn't think that Peaches did all that much wrong when it came to the FCK, and that the worst of it is them talking about their boyfriend's dick in front of Slimmers, who would have been a minor, which completely ignores the fact that Peaches actively turned a blind eye to the porn spam which went on and let it happen without breaking a word to the public.
Okay, with the last part of that statement, I won't lie, that's actually a good criticism. I really should have gone over Peaches turning a blind eye to the porn spamming going on in the FCK that minors had access to. Granted, I was planning to go over this in my FCK video, but I really should have gone over it in my Peaches video, so thank you for correcting me on that, Vincent. Now I want to make this clear. As far as I'm aware, Peaches was not grooming anyone. Peaches was not an admin, nor mod in the Discord. They just knew about what was going on and told no one about it. I did show my video to both Akumu and Lio. I tried showing it to Crystal Flame, but they never got back to me. Neither of them caught this mistake in my video, but still, I was the one who uploaded it. I really should have checked things better, and I apologize for that. However, in comparison to people like Miss ZZ and Toasty, Peaches was one of the least bad people in the FCK. Again, I'll go over this in more detail when my FCK video comes out. And here's another thing I just realized, Vincent. You did this whole big video about the slideshow commentary community, and you didn't go over what happened to Doodle Tones. Doodle Tones was also in the FCK, Doodle Tones also knew what was going on, and now Doodle Tones has left the internet. And I know you're aware of Doodle Tones because she did a video on you. If I'm excusing what Hopeless Peaches did in the FCK because I didn't go over it, then you're excusing what Doodle Tones did because you didn't go over it. As for a 15-year-old overhearing Peaches talk about her boyfriend's wiener, I really don't think that's a big deal, and I'm gonna stand by that. PG-13 movies have way more inappropriate stuff in them. Hell, so do most animes directed at children. When I was 12, my dad let me see RoboCop, and that movie had boobies in it. I love how people keep twisting this point into me saying it's okay to talk to minors inappropriately. Whoa, 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 whoa. I said around, not to. If your sibling who's a minor overhears you playing Call of Duty and you scream out the phrase, "I'm gonna grape you in the mouth" to someone you're playing against on the Xbox, I wouldn't think you deserve to get canceled for that. If you're an adult and talking to a minor privately and you say, "Hey kid, you wanna talk about genitals?" then yes, I do believe that you're absolutely sus. But a minor overhearing you say to another adult, "My boyfriend's knob is really small small is not cancel worthy in my opinion. Some people have also twisted this into me saying that we all send minors porn and that we all groom minors at some point, which, first of all, if that really was my point, I would be canceled down and up. And I don't see how the 15-year-old was scarred in any way. In reference to someone talking about their boyfriend's pee-pee, not in reference to being groomed or shown porn or anything like that. Come on guys, I was extremely isolated growing up, and when I was 14 I watched Berserk 1997. It's basically like Game of Thrones if it was an anime. Also, just look at this clip from my Camilla video.
However, those who are above the age of 18 can't have coitus with them.
Along with the clip from this video where I defended Mari from prison mate Luke and Izzy.
I also jerked it to Goku when he was an adult, and he used to be a 12-year-old who looked like a baby. In fact, come to think of it, every person I've ever had sex with used to be a child. Oh my god!
Oh my god, you guys, did you hear that? I was talking about having coitus with other adults, and I did not age restrict my video! So many minors heard me say that, and surprisingly, no one tried to cancel me for it. Most people understood what I meant and enjoyed my Hopeless Peaches video, but a handful of people tried to paint me as the next tipster or Cothrix. Now, to be fair, none of us can prove exactly what Slumers overheard Peaches say in the call. Peaches could have gone into great detail about their boyfriend's dick, or they could have just said, yeah, his knob is pretty small. If I was 15 and I overheard two women talking and one said my boyfriend's wiener is pretty small, I would have just burst out laughing. This is like the Tobi drama all over again. Remember when I said 16 isn't a kid, and for some reason people thought I was saying 16-year-olds are adults? Apparently, teenagers stopped existing or something. I'm just saying, guys, Tobi isn't a hypocrite. Drawing a 16-year-old in BDSM gear with a bloody nose is not the same thing as drawing a 6 to 11-year-old with his tackle out. And yes, that's exactly the drawing Ben the Looney made that made Tobi so pissed off at him. The art community, everyone! Being a hypocrite is worse than drawing fully nude 6 to 11-year-olds!
Not only that, but Jar downplays Peaches talking inappropriately around minors as something we all do, and that you'll have to cancel everyone if you want to hold the same standard, and it's laughable to a fault.
Now, I really hope this is not taken the wrong way. No, Vincent, you can clearly tell I'm having a nervous laugh. That's why I said, I really hope people don't take this the wrong way, because I knew a few people would. But adults talk inappropriately around minors all the time. Sometimes adults, especially young adults, forget that they are adults. So in my book, what Peaches did wasn't a big deal. And if you think this is a big deal, then you should probably consider canceling 90% of adults. It's not a good thing to do, but I'm sure we've all done it.
This isn't them saying bollock, shit and fuck. This is Peaches talking about perverse topics in front of kids, which a majority of people don't do because it's really fucking weird.
Well, if we exclude everybody who starred, written, and acted in a PG-13 movie or anime, then yes, you would have a point. As far as I'm aware, no one else has complained about me saying this in a video. Sure, plenty of people have done it in the comments, but not in a video. At least as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen every single video on me. But did you not pay attention to the part I said afterwards about how it's not a good thing to do? Now, of course, there's no way I can prove that the people disagreeing with this have at one point said something inappropriate in front of a minor while they were an adult. Unless, of course, they work in sex ed or something. Now, I want to make this clear, because I know some people are going to twist this. I'm not saying you should just walk up to some random 15-year-old and say, "Hello there, minor. You want me to tell you about the birds and the bees?" I'm just saying if you're discussing perverted topics, you should be aware of teenagers in the room. But if you make that mistake, I don't think you should be executed, serve jail time, or get canceled on Twitter. Just say, "Hey guys, I'm aware that when I was talking about my boyfriend's pee-pee being small, a minor overheard me. And I apologize for that. It was a mistake and I'll do my best not to repeat it. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I saw Dragon Ball as a kid. Goku had his tackle out a handful of times, and that show was made by an adult."
It's baffling to try to work around what Jar is saying without repeating myself, and it makes me wonder why he thinks this is just fine to say when it really isn't.
It actually is. Watch any PG-13 movie or anime. Sure, I can't prove that you have done it, but I can prove that other people have done it. And this is not just to Vincent, this is to anybody who complained about this specific clip of mine. What should the punishment be for people who've accidentally spoken inappropriately around minors?
The only thing I could think to relate Jar's reasoning to would be in the case of Jay Cartwright from The Inbetweeners, in which he boasts about his numerous lewd adventures despite being a teenager with no game. Or Riz, as the kids call it nowadays. Even then, I still don't quite see it.
I haven't seen that movie, but I'm guessing it's rated PG-13. It was made by adults, and minors saw that movie. Oh, the humanity!
There is a disconnect between two teenagers lying about the size of their schlong to each other, and an adult talking about the size of their partner's funny bits.
Yes, there is a difference. 2 of them are teenagers, and 2 of them are adults. Thank you for pointing out the obvious, Vincent.
Putting everything together from how Jar has acted in the past with controversy or drama, and looking now at how he dealt with Hopeless Peaches is getting outed for all that which they have done, I'm uncertain as to whether Jar is best suited for the serious stuff. Like, if he wants to pursue doing commentary on the side as he has been doing, then go for it. If it means going over the topics of reactionary channels or YouTube politics or whatever. But I don't think that Jar is the best candidate for serious topics and shouldn't attempt to cover the FCK on his own if he does decide that path, considering how easily he was willing to let Peaches slide for what they did.
Vincent, that is an absolute lie. I did not let Peaches slide for what they did. I just think the idea that Peaches nuked their channel just because they talked about their boyfriend's wiener in front of a 15-year-old and also tried to drag a whole bunch of people down with them is absolutely hilarious. If this situation happened to me, I would have just apologized and continued uploading. Vaush exposed his folder of horses and anime children, and he's still uploading on YouTube. I'm not saying what he did was okay, I'm just saying the cancel mob didn't make him give up. Also, I'm gonna be real here. Throughout all my years on YouTube, I've never seen someone get canceled for talking inappropriately around a 15-year-old. Sure, I've seen plenty of people getting cancelled for directly talking inappropriately to a 15-year-old, but not around them.
Of course, that then opens the can of worms of what is considered serious and all of that, but again, I don't control what he wants to do. Not only leaving out harsh accusations, but by saying that Peaches could have simply bounced back from being called out by apologizing when he fails to understand the rather large smear would have left on their record.
Whoa now, I'm not saying it wouldn't have smeared their record, I'm just saying it wouldn't have destroyed it completely. They could have bounced back easily. Vincent, you know that a lot of people think I'm either A, racist, or B, a groomer based off of a thumbnail. I haven't given up on YouTube, and I don't see why Peaches should have to. Now I want to make this clear, I'm just talking about what Peaches said in reference to Slumers, not everything else they did. But this is something that I've never understood about ArtCC people. Way more people hate Vosh than Prismate Luke. Way more people hate Turkey Tom than the name's Junkie. Way more people hate Seth the Programmer than Creep Short. Okay, actually, never mind, that one's absolutely false. But the point I'm trying to make is you guys get just a little bit of backlash and you give up. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely can't stand people like the names Junkie and Prismate Luke, but they gave up way too fast. Think of the Pyro situation. Turkey Tom was being dunked on so hard, lots of people still hate him for it. But he hasn't given up on YouTube, he's still uploading like he always has. iShowSpeed literally showed his tackle to thousands, if not millions of people on Twitch. And he revealed to everyone that he's, not very big down there. Oh no, I just talked about someone's private parts without age restricting the video. I get bad. Granted, the overwhelming majority of people think this was done on accident, but there are literally tens of thousands of people who believe that he did this on purpose. And, yeah, he's still very famous on Twitch. Wait a second, I just realized PK Russell showed his butt and balls on Twitter without age restricting it. He got called out by a few people in the ArtCC for this, but he still uploaded on YouTube for quite a few months. In recent years, his channel hasn't done so hot, but he did apologize for this, and a lot of people seem to accept his apology. Maybe this is a crazy take, but I think exposing your balls on Twitter to a bunch of minors is a little bit worse than talking about your boyfriend's wiener in front of a 15-year-old one time.
Something tells me people aren't going to be all that forgiving about casually allowing porn to be spammed in front of kids whilst keeping it a secret for a good few years.
Oh yeah, they won't be. Man, they aren't. I can perfectly understand why you would come to that conclusion. After all, I didn't go over that in my video, and I do apologize for that. At least I went over it in my Doodle Tones video, so that's pretty good. Now, I want to wrap up the video here, but then I went down to the comments and some of them are just so funny that I have to go over them.
Are your loud neighbors keeping you up at night with just fucking
Ness with a beard said, "Unfortunately, this wouldn't be the first time Jar sided with a groomer." Wait, what? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Vincent was making the allegation that I was siding with a groomer. I didn't side with Hopeless Peaches, and as far as I'm aware, she never groomed anyone, so what are you talking about? Someone asked him what was the first time. VincentSkullMan wasn't making that allegation towards me. God, I hate games of telephone so much. I say, hey guys, I don't think talking in front of a 15-year-old about your boyfriend's small peepee is that big of a deal. VincentSkullMan hears that and thinks, wait a second, you're saying showing porn to minors isn't a big deal? And then someone else says, oh, I see what you're saying, VincentSkullMan. Jar sided with groomers. Ness with a beard goes on to talk about Lily, not Lily Orchard, the person who was in the follow-up video about my past, claiming that she was a groomer. Now here's the thing, I don't know everything about everyone. For all I know, this person could have groomed a whole kindergarten. But I haven't seen any proof for this allegation, and as far as I'm aware, both Ponder and Leo Convoy looked into her and they couldn't find anything. The only person I know of who's made the claim that Lily said this was Chaos55T, and they didn't provide proof that Lily said this, they just made the claim that Lily said this. From what I can remember, this alleged grooming happened on Skype, but Skype deletes your messages after 3 years, so neither of them can prove who's guilty or who's innocent. But Chaos55T was also the person who photoshopped me grooming a 13-year-old, so I personally would believe Lily over her. Now it's entirely possible that Ness with a beard is talking about someone else. If they are, I certainly haven't heard about this before. But he's the same guy who came to the conclusion that Vincent was talking about me siding with groomers in this video, so I think the guy is a bit of a screw loose, if you know what I mean. But in this comment thread, I saw one of the most insane comments about me I've seen in a very long time. Even if this is the first or insert number of times sided with a groomer, I'm still amazed he put Zaid, I will kill you if you disagree with me about Star Wars, Misanthropony's video on Steven Universe as a filler until Jar got back into the swing of things. ... after conveniently getting hacked while his friend Lio and Peaches were uncovered as not so nice people. Wow, just wow, this person legitimately believes I've sided with multiple groomers, but they're more upset with me for re-uploading one of Misanthropony's videos. Just wow. Zaid was right about one thing, he does have the most unhinged haters ever. And yeah, I don't agree with what Zaid did, but he didn't exactly groom a minor or draw feral or anything like that. I also did more than just re-upload his Steven Universe video. I also re-uploaded 3 of his Star Wars videos. Now YouTube doesn't like re-uploaded content, so none of them really did all that good. But I got money out of them, his fans got enjoyment out of rewatching his content, and the only way he benefits from this is not having his work lost to the sands of time. He didn't get any money out of this, so if anything, he benefited the least. Oh no! You re-uploaded a guy's content that I don't like, and I guess you also sided with a whole bunch of groomers. As for the part about me conveniently getting hacked as Peaches and Leah were being bashed, there's another person in this comment section who claims that I was conveniently getting hacked because of the FCK stuff. Okay, so whether people think I faked getting hacked or let myself get hacked, these conspiracies around me just make no sense. I have proven that my channel was gone for at least 2 days, so I risked losing my entire channel just to get out of some allegations? And just because Peaches and Lio are being bashed doesn't mean I'm gonna get any flack for it. Also, I talked about what Hopeless Peaches did, so my diabolical plan was to let myself get hacked so I could come back and then talk about Peaches. Wow, that plan makes no sense. Something like this also happened when I made my video about leaving commentary. Yes, that video has aged very, very poorly. Months went by, and the Coyote Lovely allegations came out. Someone came to the conclusion that I made my video about leaving commentary because I knew about the allegations against him before they came out or something. When this channel got hacked, people also had conspiracies as to why. The thing is, it wasn't just me and Manga Common. Lots of other people were hacked by the same group. When the Creepshow art drama happened, she faked getting hacked, and it didn't work. So why would I try the same thing? Oh no, no one has made a video accusing me of anything. Oh, I got it. I'll say that I was hacked, and that way no one will ever be able to make allegations against me. If my channel was hacked just now, people would have said it was because of the VincentSkullMan video. If I was hacked during the Misanthropony situation, people would have said I did it because he was getting bashed, and I did a collab with him that one time. Kind of weird that I was never hacked when the Prismate Luke situation happened, but whatever. Guys, I'm gonna be real here. Dramas are always happening. People I've interacted with, even a little bit, are always getting exposed. It's not really convenient timing, it's just your brain making a connection to something that's not really there. There's another person who pointed out that I was part of the FCK, even though I said I was in the Hopeless Peaches video. You know, the video that VincentSkullMan went over in his video. I don't think you're providing him any new information, buddy. You're not really exposing me if I admitted to it in a video that got over 70,000 views. But all I did was say 2 things then leave. I'm highly dyslexic, and I don't really use Discord that much, so I wasn't exactly peering into the chats. Neither FCK leaks nor Akumu think I'm guilty in this situation.
Or maybe I didn't know what was going on and kept my mouth shut about it.
Even though I really hate the Art CC, so it would make no sense for me not to expose this, but whatever. Here's a comment from someone saying they didn't really like my Disney videos and it caused me to fall off. When I was talking about Disney all the time, that's when my channel was doing the best. What does it even mean when a creator falls off? There was this person who said as an adult they were talking to coworkers inappropriately and minors were present. But then they somehow still have a problem with what I say because they went on to not make those same mistakes. Wow, golly gee willikers, it's almost like I said it's not a good thing to do. Vincent replies to them that it's different because they understood their mistake, but Peaches let their mistake fester. Did Peaches talk about their boyfriend's dick in front of even more minors? As far as I'm aware, they've only done it the one time. Now, Vincent, if you're referring to Peaches staying quiet about the porn being spammed in the server, then yeah, you have a point, but I never argued against that. Okay, let's read one more comment from John Jake. You see, Ja got on Spocter's case for 2 underage people sending each other photos. Nope, I'm not reading the rest because that never happened. That's what Stories and Pentagon did. I never did anything of the sort. My issue is that he held onto the nudes of a 13-year-old past his 18th birthday. Now, maybe he forgot he had those photos and once he discovered them, he destroyed them. I think there's a good chance that he's innocent, but the fact that he was acting so sus and then ran away isn't a good look. We don't know 100% for sure if Spocter is innocent or guilty, but if he is innocent, then he's a massive pussy. Oh, I can prove that I'm not a predator. Nah, that sounds like too much work. I'm just going to let people believe that I'm a predator, even though I'm innocent. Why is it that every single hater of mine just mistranslates what I say? Okay, I'm done with these comments. Now it's time for me to move on to my ending thoughts.
Fuck the IRS, put it in their poop hole. I'ma write off my gas with this loophole.
Whoa, now, before we get to my ending thoughts about VincentSkullMan, I discovered he has made yet another video on me. Yeah, I had this VincentSkullMan video done like a month ago, but some of my audio got corrupted and I kept on putting off fixing the audio for quite some time. I finally got around to it, and while I was in the middle of putting the new audio in, I saw his latest video on me in my sub box. Yeah, apparently I'm subscribed to this guy, but I don't ever remember subbing to him. This video is titled, Just a Robot Does Not Understand the Art Commentary Community. Yeah, he responded to my video about the art commentary community only 6 days after it came out.
Regardless, I'm going to keep this rather informal, considering it isn't a serious dissection of someone, but more so prodding Just a Robot with a cattle prod, considering some of the things thrown out in this most recent video.
Okay, Vincent, if you wanted to pick my brain, why didn't you just hit me up on Discord or something? Bro, you have done just so many videos about me. Now granted, most of them are positive, I'll give you that. But at this point, things are starting to get parasocial. Can you talk about someone else for a change?
Hopefully I'll get a few cogs turning in that cranium of his with all that electricity.
Listen, contrary to popular belief, I actually do enjoy when people give me criticism. Shady Do-Rags has criticized me in a few of his videos, and I take his critiques to my hard drive. But Vincent, I don't mean to be mean here, man. Your critiques aren't really the best. Then Akumu came in and caused a domino effect, creating the Lyle Convoy drama, another Hopeless Peaches drama, the FCK drama, and more than likely even more dramas after that.
I'm going to try and not nitpick too much in this video because there is probably a lot to pick up on, but that may just be because Jar has to do a lot of simplifying in this scenario to fit things into his 32-minute summary. That being said, Akumu only really caused the FCK leak, considering that Lyle Convoy made the situation worse for himself by sitting on the information at hand and not prioritizing the FCK when Akumu brought it to his attention. I suppose adding on top his rampant defense of Hopeless Peaches until the penny dropped didn't help either, especially when the Rosa Ray Ramsey call was unearthed, allowing many to dig their claws into it. One could say Akumu caused it because he led the charge and made sure to upload as soon as anything credible came his way, but he certainly wasn't the only or biggest creator doing so either.
Yes, VincentSkullMan, this is a nitpick. I can't make every single video of mine an hour long. I just wanted to quickly sum up everything. I never said nor implied that Akumu was the biggest person who went after Lyle Convoy, and I definitely did not imply he was the only person to go after Lyle Convoy. But as far as I'm aware, he's done the most videos on Lyle Convoy, excluding the people who keep making live streams covering stuff about Lyle Convoy, of course. Lyle has been in dramas before Akumu showed up, such as the Fox Mafia stuff, the Coyote Lovely stuff, and of course all the other smaller dramas around him. But when his back and forth with Akumu started, that's when Lyle Convoy actually started getting ratioed on his videos. At least from what I've seen, Akumu was the straw that broke the camel's back. Or I guess in this case, the lion's back. I haven't been fully paying attention to the last few dramas, so I might do another video explaining everything when it's all over.
Please, for the love of fuck, don't make another nothing burger. A man can only watch so much Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty funny. I was just getting bored of the kitchen background. I think I've used it for way too long. But I don't know what you mean by nothing burger video. Is it because I've covered stuff that other people have covered before? That happens in commentary literally all the time. I've done recap videos in the past. Cecil McFly did a video recapping the Tobi / Hopeless Peaches / Creepshow art drama. Just look at Turkey Tom's channel. That guy pretty much does nothing but recap big dramas. Sure, a lot of the stuff in my Spockter and Daft Pina videos are original, but I still went over things that other commentators have already talked about in the past.
Besides, you're in the way, man. I have no idea what RNG is going to be cast next.
Yeah, that's a good point. Lorenzo, please move my avatar to the side for me. Thank you. So is Doodle Tones part of the Art CC? Or should I say was, because she left YouTube not too long ago?
Yes.
Is Lio Art CC?
No.
Is Daft Pina part of the Art CC?
No.
Was Prismate Luke a member of the Art CC?
No.
Am I part of the Art CC?
No.
Is Akumu Art CC?
No.
You only disagreed with me on 2 people, and that's Lyle Convoy and myself. I hate to break it to you, Vincent, but a lot of people have called both me and Lio Art CC.
Listen, Jar has to understand that there needs to be some order to how these people are labeled.
Well, I did go over the order as to how I labeled these people. You just took my explanation out of your video for whatever reason.
It is rather easy to tell if someone is art commentary material, and that's to look at those who actually aligned with it in the past. Omnia, Mally Malware, Ponder Sprocket, Streamline Workshop, Creepshow, Tobi, whomever else I forgot, all have a common attribute, see?
While I would consider Mal to be in the art commentary community, she's not really a commentator. As for the rest of those, yeah, I agree with you on that. Where are you going with this?
All of which use a speed paint in some regard for the background of their content, with the potential addition of using avatars or stills as a way to express oneself in that moment.
Okay, I see where the mix-up is happening. You're mixing up style / presentation with being a member of a community. Yes, doing art in the background while you commentate does make you an art commentator, but that doesn't make them part of the community. You need to be part of the community in order to be part of the community. If you're hanging around art commentators all the time and doing collabs with them, then you're an art commentator. Doodle Tones has stated multiple times that she's not an art commentator. She's a slideshow commentator.
Alright, hello, hi, I'm Doodletones, slideshow commentator, and not a DeviantArt ranter.
Now, shortly after I started my Just a Robot persona, I quickly fell back into the old commentary group I was a part of. You know, the small ones with people like Doodletones, Icy Hazard, the name's Junkie. Yep, because of the Doodletones drama and the Icy Hazard drama, I got sucked back into the old community that used to shun me.
Seriously, call Spockter a slideshow commentator and call me a DeviantArt ranter? This shit's so backwards.
But I and many others still put the label of ArtCC on her. Back when I was in the anti-SJW community, I used an avatar, Bearing used an avatar, Armored Skeptic used an avatar, and lots of other anti-SJWs used avatars. Due to our presentation, we were technically slideshow commentators, but we were part of the anti-SJW community.
Not so much with Lyle Convoy. He would more so be just a commentary / reviewer hybrid, since the majority of his footage is him assembling figurines in his videos with other images sliding over the top when need be. Just because he associates or works with art commentary people in the past doesn't make him ACC material, because he lacks our two big rules, and Jar more or less just goes with an association stance.
Okay, but he still talks about ArtCC topics, and he just replaced the art in the background with building a figurine in the background. That's basically the same thing.
There is logic in what he says.
He works with art commentators all the time. A lot of the people in his Discord are part of the ArtCC. A lot of his fan base are also ArtCC. He talks a lot about ArtCC topics. In my book, he's part of the community. Now, I'm not trying to use the fallacy ad populum, but a lot of people have also said that Lio is ArtCC. It's not just me. A lot of other people have said the same thing.
This whole checklist of characters is just weird to begin with, because to most people it is obvious who is who. Nobody was looking at Akumu or Luke and wondering if they were ACC.
You may think it's obvious, but not everybody is as familiar with the community as you are.
Jar's own little ramble just comes off as weird regarding his involvement, because it's just not that deep. He got buddy-buddy with the Peach Protectors, and then the event faded. For that time, he was involved with art commentators, but never became one himself, because collaborating with those involved doesn't stitch you to the community itself. You may be seen as an honorary member, but I very much doubt this would apply for Jar.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest here. I think collabing with a bunch of people from a specific community over and over and over again, being involved in the community, and being seen as an honorary member makes you a part of that community. Think of it like this. A black guy may be African, but if he lives in America, then he's an American citizen. You get what I'm saying, right? In roughly a third of this video, VincentSkullMan keeps complaining that I don't know what ArtCC means. I'm gonna be skipping over the rest of the moments where he complains about this. I think we're just gonna have to agree to disagree. At least through this video, I'm showing people what I mean when I say ArtCC. The first tactic they like to use is claiming that anyone fighting back against them is reviving the drama. Some of you may think that this started with the Tobi drama, but unfortunately that is not the case. I was told that I was reviving the drama when I dealt with the Heather Pack. Even when I pointed out they were bringing the drama back up again, they immediately pointed the finger right back at me 5 seconds later to say I was reviving the drama.
You see, this is irritating. I am aware Jar got flack during the Tobi situation because he spoke about it after most had stopped, and at that point I can agree that reviving the drama is a redundant argument to make. If there is something which could be added on to, which was left out, then it is well worth bringing the topic back to add the relevant information where it was otherwise lost. It would only be in certain scenarios where nothing new is added and old points are just rehashed to make the same arguments, where people could go, come on man, you're reviving it for the sake of drama. Even then, it would likely only come to be in rare occurrences at this point.
Golly gee willikers, Vincent. Thank you for agreeing with me.
However, what irks me is how Jar just skips through this section with little proof of this being levied against himself.
Fair point, Vincent. I kind of rushed through this video and I really should have worked on it for at least one more day. I'll put some proof up on screen right now so you guys can see it for yourself. Fishing for comments about this kind of stuff is a bit frustrating. It's very time consuming time-consuming, and I felt like I added enough to the video already. But I still should have added this in, so I'll give Vincent the W on this point.
He mentions bringing it up in an old video, so he should provide necessary clips or screenshots when applicable. Same with pointing to the Illymation / Think Before You Sleep / Noah Samson videos, and just saying it was happening with no comment to back it up either. Jar is expecting the audience to believe his words with little in the way to back it up either. He's taking a step down from what prison mate Luke used to do.
Vincent, I wasn't making an allegation towards anyone, so that's why I didn't feel like I had to show proof about this. Luke didn't expect people to take his word on things. He would show screenshots that straight up contradicted what he said.
But that's not where it ended. She kept going on about it. And not only that, instead of being sorry for what she did, she turned really bitter about having to apologize and started lying about me. Where just a few days later, it turned from an issue she had to work on and improve, it turned into me being this awful person.
I think it's a bit extreme to compare me to prison mate Luke because I didn't show proof on one of my points.
He's not giving us something to gnaw on, he's just throwing things at the wall and hoping no one questions them, considering I couldn't find a comment when searching by most popular or most recent.
Well, that's a pretty dumb way for looking for certain comments. I never said nor implied it was a recent thing that was happening on those videos, or that it was one of the most upvoted comments on that video. I'll put up the comment on screen right now so you can see that I'm not lying about this. I was originally planning to show that this stuff was happening in future drama videos I did on the ArcCC. And that's because they always do shit like this.
It was a fair complaint in the past, but Jar uses that prior confirmation to try to push the notion that it's still an ongoing issue, when there is no evidence to back it up.
Oh, so Vincent, you did know about this stuff, and this has happened to me 3 times. It happened to me when I dealt with the Heather Pack, it happened to me when I dealt with Doodletones and her friends, and it also happened to me with the Tobi drama. Granted, I can't prove it with the Heather Pack because those videos and those channels are now gone, but I can prove it with all the other ones. And if you need examples of it happening in recent times, well, here's a few clips from Akumu's videos.
Guys, I don't know if you understand, but I've been dealing with this for over a fucking year, 'cause he doesn't know how to take a fucking L. Or at least understand when I say, hey, I'm fucking taken, and I don't want you bothering me, alright? Go the fuck away. Doesn't understand that.
Nobody gives a shit that this was done out of maliciousness because someone can't get over a video from 4 years ago, and they made it very clear they want me gone, and thus diverted attention from the actual victims.
Okay, to Kukui fallacy. Let's hear it, Jar.
The second tactic that they love to use is the too cool fallacy. I first heard one of them pronounce it the Tukukui fallacy, so I decided to jokingly call it that for quite some time. Basically, it means that being a hypocrite doesn't make you wrong. Now, that is true. If I'm smoking, I can still say smoking is bad for you. Yes, I'm being a hypocrite, but I'm still right. The problem is, the ArcCC will try to use this fallacy when someone is just trying to call them a hypocrite and not try to debunk any of their points. Guys, someone can call you a hypocrite without using it to prove you wrong. You know that, right? Someone in the ArcCC will say something along the lines of, this person did this, therefore they don't deserve a platform. Then someone else will point out that they did the same thing. Then the ArcCC person will respond with, being a hypocrite doesn't make me wrong.
Wow, you managed to not only say the name wrong, but also lacked any fucking evidence of an art commentary channel doing it.
I've heard it pronounced the tu quo fallacy and the tukukui fallacy. Do you know the actual correct name? I'll start saying it if you give it to me. But sure, man, I'll give you 2 examples of them saying being a hypocrite doesn't make me wrong.
Really need it if you're gonna do anything video related.
A crusty voice modifier out of your asshole and use your natural voice like I do.
But seriously, how many people do you want? 30?
I was really hoping that you would be smart enough to not pull the hypocrisy card like a lot of commentators have done, but since you're apparently not, I guess I gotta explain this really obvious notion. Being a hypocrite does not make you wrong. Being a hypocrite does not invalidate your point. This in no way, shape, or form combats Doodle's original point that your robotic voice is unpleasant to listen to, i.e. something you admitted to by the end of this interjection. The too long didn't read version, you just pulled the Tukukui fallacy on top of making an ad hominem attack about her voice that doesn't really amount to anything except for a no you argument.
I can't say anything better than that. Also, he doesn't understand what hypocrisy means. Oh guys, I don't understand. If this is about Tippy, there was a 4-year span. She was 26 and actively silenced people. I don't give two shits if people think I'm evil if it means they'll stay away from me. And being a hypocrite doesn't make me wrong, it makes me an asshole. But at least unlike him, I know that. There it is, folks. The go-to SCC copium. Just because I'm a hypocrite doesn't mean I'm wrong. Being a hypocrite, 9 times out of 10, does make you wrong. You're going to sit there on your pedestal and try and point the finger and say that someone else can't do this, that someone else doing this makes them a bad person, that they made a severe fuck up that they need to be held accountable for. And yet when it comes to you, suddenly it's different treatment. Suddenly there's excuses.
Vincent, I've shown a lot of proof in almost every single one of my videos. I'm not making an allegation towards anyone, I'm just talking about a community that I've dealt with for the past 10 years. I'm sorry that I didn't put as much effort into this video as I've done in past videos, but this is such a nitpick. So he plays a clip where I went over to backstabbing I dealt with in the ArtCC, and since I actually showed proof this time, he agrees with me, which is very nice. But then he goes on to say this.
What would have been potentially better would have been to aim a spotlight at Hopeless Peaches, considering they were a contentious figure and had backstabbed Lyle Convoy when the going got tough. What about Creepshow Art and their attack on Peaches too? If Jar had taken the time to shift the focus off of himself and onto those that are relevant within the community itself, or at least were likely known due to their controversy, then this point would have landed better.
Okay, fair point. I could have brought up more examples and made the video longer. A lot of people have complained that I put too much of the focus on myself in certain drama videos, and I agree that's a problem, and I'll do my best to work on that. My Lio Convoy video will be focused on other people because I've pretty much had nothing but good experiences with the guy. But my issue is I don't show proof and VincentSkullMan has a problem. Then I do show proof and VincentSkullMan still says it's not enough. Listen, Vincent, I just quickly slapped this video together. I didn't put that much effort into it.
The thing that gets me is that Jar just assumes that Lin Lin made that video as soon as Jar stopped being useful, when there were many things in between that likely played into it instead.
Oh yeah, like me doing an accent, woo!
There was a whole year and a half nearly since the original collaboration on Lin Lin's channel, so there was certainly time in between for some disgruntlement to form considering the type of content being posted by Jar himself. If Lin Lin wanted to backstab him, then they would have done so when the iron was hot, and moved on from there, but instead held their tongue until a considerable amount of issues had built up to the point they felt a need to make a video on the matter itself.
What do you mean by when the iron was hot? You did a video on me, Oranges talked shit about me on Twitter, and then Lin Lin made her video on me. To me, that's striking when the iron is hot. And what were all the issues that have built up over time? That I did an accent, that people asked me to change a thumbnail on Twitter, and I did? Listen, Vincent, this is why I need to go over Lin Lin's video, because a lot of people like you don't see the issues with it. I will be going over Lin Lin's video in the future, but first I need to go over the Lyle Convoy stuff and the FCK stuff. My content kind of has always been edgy. Lin Lin did a video with me, and then later decided, oh my god, Jar is so edgy, how did I not realize this before?
For now, Jar finds it acceptable for channels to critique those that helped bring them success through shoutouts or collaborations, unless it's him.
No, you completely pulled that point out of your ass. First of all, you know I go over the Omnia and Creepshow Art stuff later on in this video. Second of all, you've seen my Peaches video, and you know I was not happy with her throwing Lio Convoy under the bus. Third of all, you now know that I'm fine with people like Shady Durags criticizing me. In case you don't remember, Vincent, I had a debate with that creepy reading about Daft Pina. He told me that I should have contacted Daft before I made my videos on him, and I took the L on that. Don't quote me on this, but I believe Lin Lin brought that up in our call. It's recorded, I'll play it once I make my video on her. I believe she tried to use the fact that I didn't talk to Daft before I made my videos on him as a gotcha point against me. The thing is, I took the L on that. For the most part, this video critiquing me by VincentSkullMan has a few good points in it. They're a bit nitpicky, but I still agree with a few of them. But then he says stuff like, oh, Jar only thinks a critique video is bad when it's on him, or he compares me to Prisonmate Luke for whatever reason. I'm at long last going to be making my video on Lio Convoy, despite how much he has helped me out. But I did hesitate on making it, and I'm at least feeling bad about it.
Now, would you believe me if I said that I was skeptical? Not that I think Jar Jar could cook some nasty rumours up or line the video itself, but that it will be another nothing burger like his Hopeless Peaches one. Lio Convoy has been widely covered by a lot of different people, and Akumu has created his own summary of the main things which came to be within that time frame too.
Okay, so instead of saying I'm reviving the drama, you're saying it's a nothing burger video. I know other people have made lots of videos on Lio Convoy, you don't need to tell me. But the video I'm working on will be multiple hours long, and it's gonna go over a lot of stuff. If you think it's a nothing burger video, whatever the hell that means, then you don't have to watch it.
I'd be interested to see something new if he actually has something unseen to offer, but the Hopeless Peaches video doesn't set a good tone for what is to come, since it'll be a waste of everyone's time all over again.
Okay, Vincent, just because you thought it was quote-unquote a waste of time doesn't mean everybody agrees with you. A lot of people did enjoy that video. Hell, it was only one of 4 successful videos I've had this year. And if I just talk about new stuff with Lio that no one has gone over, it would have to be stuff involving me. And then you would complain that I'm talking about myself too much. You're putting me in a no-win situation, my guy. When LolCow leaked Creepshow Art's post, Omnia was the first one to make a video about it, despite everything Creepshow Art did for them and their friends. Like, Jesus, it's good to call it out, but could you at least not be the first one? Omnia didn't hesitate, and they got 1 million views out of that video.
I think Jar is doing the opposite of what they want to be doing here. I feel as though a creator has a responsibility to call out those that they once outwardly supported or collaborated with.
Yeah, it's almost like I said it was good for Omnia to call Creepshow out or something.
You should be willing to protect your audience, as there is likely a shared viewing of content, and failing to do so is just irresponsible.
Yes, I agree. I never said it was a bad thing that Omnia called Creepshow Art out.
Part of me feels Jar meant to say something along the lines of waiting until the other creators had a chance to speak out.
No, that's not what I said at all. My problem is that Omnia was literally the first person to call Creepshow Art out. Don't quote me on this, but I believe Kai said that them and Omnia stayed up all night finishing up their Creepshow Art video. That video was roughly an hour long. As someone who's made hour-long content before, I can tell you that that takes a lot of effort to make. Now obviously I can't show proof of this because that video, along with Omnia's entire old channel, has been taken off of YouTube. Thuman was also friends with Creepshow Art, but she didn't rush her video out. She was in denial of what her friend did, and I don't blame her. Normal people do that. When I heard the stuff about Hopeless Peaches, I hesitated because I didn't want to believe it. If Omnia was one of the first people to ever call out Creepshow Art, that would be fine, but to be the very first person to do so, after all Creepshow Art did for them, just rubs me the wrong way. Bro, do you really think my point is, you should never call out your YouTube friends, no matter what they have done. Even if they do something to a child, you should never call it out.
If that other creator suddenly gets outed for being a horrible person, or worse.
Whoa! Whoa! Dude, are you seriously implying that if I was friends with EDP and knew what he was doing, I wouldn't call it out? Are you serious? Every time I think I've seen the most cartoonishly uncharitable interpretation of something I've said, someone always has to come along to be even more uncharitable.
But that would just be a bad example on his front, considering everything from LolCow was pretty solid and well documented.
Well, you have the benefit of hindsight. Despite how much I hated Creepshow Art back then, I wanted to look through this stuff carefully before I got started on a video about it.
Only being added on by Emily Artful's video.
Okay, dude, do you not understand what I mean by the very first one? Omnia's video came out long before Emily Artful's video on Creepshow Art.
So, in this scenario, Omnia was well entitled to cover Creepshow Art as they had, and the fact they got displayed as if they were doing it just for views or money is rather despicable on Jar's end, if not just rather unnecessary.
I'm despicable? Really, bro? First of all, you've called my Peaches video a nothing burger video, heavily implying I just did it for views. So by your own logic, wouldn't you also be despicable? A lot of people have claimed I've done X videos for views, and I've I've never described any of them as despicable. Second of all, I never said nor imply Omnia wasn't in their right to cover creepshow art. This is America. Omnia has freedom of speech. They can do whatever they want on their YouTube channel. I'm happy that Omnia called creepshow art out. Good on ya, Omnia. You get a gold star sticker for that one. I'm just baffled that Omnia was the very first person to make a video on creepshow art. As soon as Omnia saw the lolcow leaks, they dropped everything to work on this video. And I didn't say it was a bad thing that Omnia got views, I'm just saying they got really rewarded for calling their friend out so quickly. In the Art CC, loyalty is almost never rewarded. They are also simultaneously loyal to a fault. They are just not loyal when it comes to me. Instead, they are loyal when it comes to really dumb things. Holy Majesty joined Kai because, according to Lio, he was black.
Man, a screenshot or something would be nice to prove this, and not just Jar pulling it out of his arse randomly for no reason. It isn't like there was a big split in the art commentary community that could be more casually gestured to if you wanted to throw something out, with it being rather comical too.
Well, Lio told me in a call, and he claimed that Holy Majesty said this in a call. This is purely anecdotal, that's why I said, according to Lio. There's no proof I can show. People don't really trust Lio, so there's a good chance that this is false, but it sounds true to me because why else would Holy Majesty join Kai? That being said, I probably shouldn't have put this in my video. There's a good chance it's false, and I might be spreading around false information. So I'll give you the W on this one, Vincent. Lin Lin decided to help Lio against Omnia, and it's not going so well for her.
Wrong. Did you even watch the video, man? Lin Lin more or less spent the video's length firing blanks at Omnia after their video on the Rosa call, which you'd know if you even skimmed through it just a little bit. It really wasn't a defensive lie, and more so an opportunity to strike at Omnia, like they had done so many times before.
Well, she did technically help Lio out by going after one of his detractors who was criticizing him in the video she was covering. I'm not saying that Lin Lin excused everything Lio did. She most definitely did not do that in her video.
One thing that I hope we can all agree on would be the fact that the absolutely rampant ableism, fat phobia, and general verbal harassment featured in this call was nothing short of unacceptable.
Personally, I, along with a lot of other people, didn't have a problem with what Omnia said in their video. Lin Lin throughout her video seemed to have a bigger problem with Omnia giggling and making fart sound effects.
If you ever have an opinion, I swear to God, the whole Senate server finna smite you.
Oh yeah, cause the idiot out here who knows that this is a serious situation and yet prompts the text on screen with fart noises.
Then with Lio's objective ableism towards Rosa. You also have clips like this.
Something that is pretty ridiculous when you take into account how Omnia's thumbnails refer to Peaches and Lio as an ableist bully and a cruel abuser respectively.
Yeah, honestly, Lin Lin, I don't really disagree with that. It's kind of like what I did in the Tobi situation. I put Tobi in the thumbnail, Lin Lin put Lio in the thumbnail. I talked a little about Tobi's wrongdoings, but I mostly focused on Kai and Omnia, and Lin Lin focused a little on Lio's wrongdoings, but mostly talked about Omnia. If I was defending Tobi back then Lin Lin is defending Lio now. I do think your description of Lin Lin's video is a lot better than mine, but I wasn't describing Lin Lin's video, I was just saying she helped out Lio. I can understand how you came to the conclusion you did, Vincent, so I'll give you a W on this one. Not gonna lie, out of the hundreds of videos I've seen on me, this is definitely in the top 5. Granted, when you consider most of the videos people have made on me, that's not a high bar to jump over. Now that the ArtCC doesn't like me, they don't bring up my Spockter videos when they're talking about the Spockter situation.
I mean, why would Bored Oranges bother referencing your video when the only original thing from it would be the Lio, Peaches and Spockter call that only shows off his childish nature at the time despite mistreatment of Peaches?
First of all, I did 2 videos on Spockter and they both did really well. But the thing is, Oranges literally brought up all the other videos on Spockter except for my videos. Oranges even went over points that I brought up in my second Spockter video. I didn't take those points from other people's channels, that was all me.
Spockter in his second Peaches video starts off by defending himself against Harley. Really, bro? That's how you start your video? You couldn't start with, I don't know, how 99% of the allegations about Peaches were full of more shit than Coyote Lovely's mouth?
Where he says that he has to go after her for the sake of PR. And I want to pose the question to you, Spoctor. If you're in commentary, not to discuss your own thoughts on something, but to provide the most PR-appropriate response, maybe you should reconsider your reasons for being in commentary.
Now, what you're saying in this video would be a very valid point on me if the context behind my wording wasn't misrepresented so strongly. In the first screenshot you provide, I exclaimed that the narrative that was given to me had changed drastically. In the screenshot, we talked about compensation, a situation that I brought up in my previous video regarding Peaches and Camila Cuevas, where I criticized Camila for failing to properly have a conversation with Peaches about selling their collaborative work. That she did have permission to sell the posters based on this screenshot here, where they briefly mentioned it for a little bit. Is that it? Like, an exchange of ideas? It appears here that nothing was actually set in stone. Especially after seeing this screenshot. I'd imagine if you were attempting to make monetary gain off the poster, you would at least give a lot more discussion into the matter. You didn't provide any further discussion of how you guys would sell the poster, and I'm very confused as to why Peaches would get a lot of slack for feeling like she's been wronged for a creator trying to sell off her work without partial compensation. The narrative that Camila had actually talked to Peaches was ultimately fractured, and Peaches came to me with information basically proving that they never had a proper conversation on that. And that narrative that changed was the narrative that Camila had permission to sell her work, when in reality, Peaches had no idea that Camila was doing it. To which I responded, you shouldn't play with money like that. I proceeded to include this new narrative in my video, to criticize Camila. Nowhere did I leave that out of my vid. I spoke my mind in my video. I said everything I wanted to say regarding the entire situation. A lot of the stuff I actually left out was regarding Creepshow, and her general handling of the situation. I believe that personally, and I've told her this personally as well, criticism and speaking your mind publicly has no substantial merit if you can't back what you're saying with some kind of physical demonstration of what someone has done. I will trust my friends, but I'll take what they say with a grain of salt without the proper evidence. Okay, wow, there's a lot to unpack here. Spoctor is right about one thing. Harley is indeed wrong when they say that Spoctor didn't defend Peaches at all. Spoctor, as he proves, did defend her a little from Camila Cuevas and a little bit from Prismate Liar. But Spoctor is still misrepresenting what Harley said. Harley didn't talk about the collaboration. Spoctor acts like they did, but Harley didn't.
Funnily enough, this video was an instance where Spoctor got some pushback here. Not much, but he did get a response from a certain Harley TBS, a then up-and-coming commentator with nowhere near the following that Spoctor had. Another way Spoctor tried to pull the PR strings, so to speak, is with his response to Harley's video we mentioned before. This was a pretty important video to respond to, given how it raised some pretty interesting evidence.
I'm not really sure why Spoctor put so much emphasis on the Camila section of the video. What does this have to do with the fact that you withheld information to save your ass? It's insane that people watched this video, saw this point specifically, and said, yeah, this is fine. He didn't even respond to the actual issue. What is happening?
Vincent, please stop it with this whole, oh, everybody else in the ArtCC make videos that are wholly original, but Jar just copies what everybody else does.
Sure, Oranges could have mentioned it, but ultimately nothing is really lost by it being left out.
Vincent, there is no new information in Orange's video. By your own logic, it's a nothing burger video. Maybe this is just me, but I feel like you're holding me to a standard that you're not holding anyone else to. It's kind of weird.
If anything, this just comes off as Jar being jealous or agitated that he wasn't included.
I don't know, I kind of feel like it was left out intentionally. Oranges has been doing a lot of petty things to me lately, but that's a video for another time. Maybe I am being petty. When everybody else is included except for me, I do feel a bit slighted. They also try to make it seem like Heaton was the one who started the Junkie bandwagon, even though she acknowledges my Junkie video at the start of her Junkie video, but whatever.
Not only is Jar not mentioned at the start of Heaton Mitsuru's video, Heaton doesn't even say Jar's name once. Only Doodletones does, and it is in relation to the Tobi situation. The best he got was a link to his video at the bottom of the goddamn description, yet he was too lazy to check even that, so unless there was traction before Heaton's video, he's a robo-lying son of a...
Yeah, I guess you're right, Vincent. I could have sworn that he mentioned my video at the beginning of her video. Maybe I'm misremembering, or maybe she edited it out. But, yeah, you're right. She didn't bring me up at the beginning of her video. So yeah, I'll take the L on this. She didn't mention it at the beginning of the video, but Doodletones mentioned it near the middle of the video. Wow, what a mistake on my end. How can I ever show my face in public? But the more important thing is that Heaton didn't start the Junkie bandwagon. I did. Heaton probably wouldn't have made her video if I didn't make my video on Junkie. So Heaton, you should have given me more credit in your video. How dare you? Also, one more thing, Vincent. Yeah, it kind of was in reference to the Tobi situation, but she brought up manga comment.
And I would have been willing to overlook that. I wouldn't have liked that it happened, and I would have had a much harder time trusting him moving forward. But I was willing to give him a second chance. Then the stuff with Common happened. I don't know if the thing that Jar talked about explicitly relates to this, but considering the Tobi drama was involved, I wouldn't exactly be surprised if it was.
Yeah, I was around the Tobi and Peaches situation, but I didn't deny that. I love how I made a simple mistake saying that I was brought up at the beginning of the video, when in reality I was brought up in the middle of the video, and Vincent tries to accuse me of being a liar because of this mistake. Bro, I will admit I should have looked over Heaton's video, but to assume I'm lying just seems like a bit of a stretch. Also, how would a lie like this make me look better or make someone else look worse? When someone lies, they do it to gain something. So why does the ArtCC do the things that they do? Is it for clout? Well, no, because I can review media and get more views than I do with a drama video. Sure, drama videos tend to grow fast, but media reviews keep getting views.
Jar, you aren't part of the ACC, so this comparison is pointless. If you had shown someone else from the ACC making a media review and getting more views than on their drama work, then it would have applied.
First of all, I do consider myself to be a part of the ArtCC, but if you want other examples, sure. Mangacom in Dumbsville, Just Stop, Ellis Mark. Should I go on or is that enough? Once again, I'll admit, I should have gone back and double-checked, but this is one of the most annoying thing about dealing with ArtCC people. They try to get you on one minuscule little thing, and then try to say that you're a liar because of it. One of the things that really upsets me about the ArtCC is how it keeps corrupting people, and changing them for the worse. But I'll be going into more detail about that in an upcoming video.
Not even I know what Jar means by this. This isn't people getting corrupted by an ancient artifact or anything. This is just people eventually showing their true colors more often than not after reaching a certain point.
Okay, Vincent, I don't think there's a mystical artifact in the ArtCC that people suddenly get corrupted by. I will admit, it is a bit of a chicken before the egg kind of question. Do terrible people just join the ArtCC, or do they become terrible after they join the ArtCC? Hopeless Peaches was by no means as aggressive as they were before their drama happened. Lio used to be a blood sports edgelord kind of guy, and look at him now. People even say I've changed because of the ArtCC, and you know what? Maybe I have. But to spin this in a way that I think there's some mystical spurg-slaying sword in the ArtCC that people wield, and after they used it to slay a few spurgs, they get infected and become a spurg themselves, is just ridiculous. One of which is me, a guy who tried to be friends with them for years. But they have backstabbed me over and over again, and I've taken out quite a few of them.
Prison mate Luke basically tied the noose on his own career.
Well, technically anyone who has been called out so much that they left YouTube has tied the noose on their own career. You could say that about Spoctor, Creepshowart, Prison mate Luke, hell, maybe even me one day. If they didn't make mistakes, then people wouldn't have called them out for the mistakes they've made. Technically, when you really get down to it, the main person responsible for taking down Junkie, Spoctor, Creepshowart, Prison mate Luke, and whoever else is themselves. I've said it before, but there's only two things that can truly get you cancelled. Pee-pee around kids and yourself.
And it certainly wasn't Jar alone who put a stop to their success before they could do more damage.
Oh, I never said I was the one who single-handedly took them down, but I can understand how you came to that conclusion.
I'd probably say that was Harley, or more so, Just Stop doing that before him.
No, I was actually the very first person to call out Prismate Luke. Now, VincentSkullMan, I want to make this clear, this is a completely understandable mistake on your end. You weren't really around back then and my second Tobi video has been unlisted, but I was the very first person ever to call out Prismate Luke. Yes, even before Turkey Tom did. Just Stop to use some of my points from that video in his first video on Prismate Luke, and when Just Stop was defending me from the racism allegations, I gave him a few of those points in a Discord call I had with him. Unfortunately, I can't prove it because, well, it was unrecorded. By the way, Spoctor was also in that call and they both talked me out of defending myself from the racism allegations for whatever reason. As for Harley, while they did do a good job fighting against Prismate Luke, they didn't really have the numbers to do any damage to him. In my book, the Prismate Luke kill is shared between me, Just Stop, Harley, and Hopeless Peaches. I'm pretty sure I've done the most videos on Prismate Luke, at least as far as I'm aware.
Same with Daft Pina, except he's still posting and doing his own thing, even with a lot less success to gain from it.
Yeah, Daft Pina is under under a different name now, and I'm happy for the guy. Personally, I think he received enough punishment for what he has done. My goal was never to get him to quit YouTube, it was to stop lying about people, and as far as I'm aware, he has stopped doing that. That goes as well for other people I've talked about, such as Prismate Luke and the name's Junkie. If they stopped making drama videos to focus on, I don't know, video game or cartoon reviews, then I'm all for it.
If anything, I'd say Rhythm Rev did a more impactful swing onto Daft considering Just Stop mentioned him watching their video at some point.
To be honest, I didn't take the criticisms of Daft too seriously for a while because people like Jar and Sunny would do it so poorly.
Wait, it's more relevant than my videos on Daft Pina because one guy mentioned it? Are you serious? Don't get me wrong, he has a very successful channel, but he's still one guy. Also, Just Stop didn't make an argument as to how my criticism against Daft Pina was done poorly. Oh sure, he said I regurgitated information, but you could say the exact same thing about Rhythm Rev's video. Watch my first 3 videos on Daft Pina, and then watch Rhythm Rev's video. It is basically exactly the same, so according to VincentSkullMan, it would be a nothing burger video. Let's be honest here, if I didn't make my first 3 videos on Daft, Rhythm Rev probably wouldn't have made his video. Don't get me wrong, it's a really well made video and it did get a lot of views, but all 4 of my videos on Daft definitely have more views combined. It's funny that VincentSkullMan said, oh, Harley and Just Stop called out Prismate Luke before Jar did, so they deserve more credit. And then right afterwards he says, oh, Rhythm Rev's video got more views than any of Jar's videos on Daft Pina, so he deserves more of the credit.
Is Jar just this out of touch? He thinks he can stop someone's online career if he deems them worthy of getting slammed?
I mean, it depends. If I stumble upon a not safe for work tape of PewDiePie with a 15-year-old girl, then yeah, I could probably take PewDiePie down. I'm not some YouTube god of death, I just get lucky a lot. Like with Creepshow Art, Prismate Luke, the name's Junkie, and a bunch of other people. Not gonna lie, I sometimes feel like I have a guardian angel watching over me. Someone comes after me on YouTube, and then something bad happens to them. Maybe I'm really smart, maybe I'm really lucky, or maybe only bad people come at me. Now thanks to Lyle Convoy, a lot more people are coming in to hate on the ArtCC, so this might at long last be the end of them.
This would be another wrong answer. Jeez. Just from a browse of all these channels provided, they don't talk about the ACC at all outside of Peaches or Doodle Tones, really.
So they're talking about the ArtCC, they're going over Doodle Tones and Hopeless Peaches, 2 members of the ArtCC. They're also talking about the FCK stuff, which is a lot of people in the ArtCC. I'm not saying they're going after everyone in the ArtCC, just that a lot more people are aware of them, and a lot of those new people don't seem to like the ArtCC all too much. Just look at Akumu, that guy hates the ArtCC even more than I do, and it's so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna be skipping a large section of my video because he plays it for like way too long. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy he added it in for context, but it's just a little too long and it's not necessary for this video. My channel isn't doing so hot right now, but I still think I could take the rest of them on all at the same time.
Bloody hell. Want a hand cranking that switch of yours? You're sitting here acting holier than thou, as if you had swatted all these fuckers off the map on your own.
No I'm not. I just find the ArtCC to be pathetic. I mean, they have tried to cancel me how many times now? And it has never worked.
Do you forget all those that stood and fought to clear Peaches' name with you?
No I haven't. I don't even know why you're bringing the Hopeless Peaches situation up.
Unlike yourself, that got temporarily crippled by a just a racist entry.
Oh yeah, they tried to cancel me for racism, and it didn't work. Listen man, you watched this video. I went over that I wasn't scared of Prismate Luke. I was scared of everybody gaining up on me all at the same time, turning me into the next Hopeless Peaches or Tobi bandwagon. That's the kind of hate that can leak into your real life. No thank you. Now I could be uncharitable here and say, oh Vincent, are you actually defending that video? But I'm a nice guy, so I won't do that.
Maybe it's because you keep getting ejected from different circles on the internet, Jar, but realize this. You are not a one-man army, able to trample those underfoot.
Well, first of all, I don't see myself as a one-man army. I got a lot of subscribers who blindly follow anything I tell them. other people are also constantly helping me out, and I give them shoutouts when they do. As for your point about me constantly getting ejected from certain circles on the internet, I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you have any examples for this aside from the ArtCC? And if the ArtCC wants to eject me, awesome, I don't want to be around those guys either.
You were shunned from the ACC crowd when people stopped liking you because something clearly shifted for a majority of people to stop wanting to associate with you there. When we had our call, did you ever wonder why Harley TBS or Mally Malware didn't want to call with you?
No, Harley did want to have a call with me. They just didn't want a mediator to be there. And I wanted there to be a mediator because I didn't trust Harley. Because of that fact, we just never had our VC. As for Mal, we did have a call. Both me and her have it recorded. As for why they stopped liking me, well, I already announced I was leaving. They didn't agree with how I handled the Spoctor situation, and a handful of other things happened. Me, Peaches, and Lio were pretty tight, but then certain situations happened. But I think the main reason why relations between me and ArtCC people keep breaking down is because of my politics. I'm a pretty edgy guy and they're not.
You complained about that to me, but never considered that perhaps it was because you weren't to be trusted.
I'm not to be trusted? Well, I think I'm a pretty honest guy, all things considered. Especially when you compare me to ArtCC people. But let's hear Vincent's theory as to why I'm not to be trusted.
I put my faith in you, that it was going to be just the two of us, but you managed to rope Lio in by handing a recording of our call to him.
Oh yeah, that call you said we were going to have and then you blew me off for several months. I didn't rope Lio in. I just showed him the call to see if he had any criticisms with how I conducted myself. He got roped in because of the call I had with Lin Lin. Whether he heard the call or not, he would have had a problem with you. Also, your logic as to why Mal and Harley wouldn't get into a call with me is because I would later on leak a call between me and you to one person. I didn't know they had foresight.
I know I harp on that point a bit sometimes, but considering he did all of this sneaky shit around me without asking, I don't think it should be easily forgotten.
All this sneaky shit? You mean I did one thing that was quote-unquote sneaky, and that was record a call without letting you know I was recording it and showing it to one person. Bro, do you know how many people have recorded calls with me without my permission? It's happened to me at least 3 times. Is this the reason for your vendetta against me? I recorded one call with you without your permission after you blew me off. That's gay! For several months, and then that one guy I showed the call to later went after you for reasons that weren't related to the call. Listen here, Vincent, you did a bad video on me. I didn't want to cover it because I didn't want you to get a massive wave of hate. So I tried to talk things out with you, you avoided me, and somehow that caused the drama around you. Something like this can only happen in the ArtCC, I swear. My call with you was not a 4D chess move to manipulate Lio and Lin Lin to come after you. This was completely unintentional in every single way. If you think I'm half this smart, then you should avoid me at all cost.
Though, maybe that's why Jar's cables are all tied up in a knot, because he's a salty little shuck who feels slighted by the ACC and thinks by declaring war or using another situation as a vessel to dunk on those in the community, that it will make him feel better.
I've gotten revenge against people plenty of times. It never feels as good as you expect it to. I've had drama with ArtCC people on and off for roughly a decade at this point. I've tried talking things out with you, Lin Lin, Junkie, Prism8 Luke, and others. It never works. I'm just curious as to what will happen when I stop trying to work things out with you guys and instead treat you people like you've treated me. A lot of you watching this video right now may think I sound really cringy, but I am just baffled at how unbelievably fragile these people are. It all started when I had an entire crusade against me because I called a woman dollface one time. The drama was escalated up to the point that I was accused of pushing 2 people to KYS, people who I didn't even know the existence of. I wanted to talk things out with Chaos55T. They accepted to have a call initially, but then they canceled it, and instead they photoshopped me grooming a 13-year-old girl, which of course led to them leaving YouTube. Instead of making response videos, I simply wanted to talk things out with Vincent and Lin Lin, and it led to Vincent being bashed by the ArtCC somehow. This community is insane. I am losing my mind. If me sitting down and talking things out with people in the ArtCC causes them to burst into flames, then I just want to know what happens when I actually go on the offensive.
Truly pitiful, behaviour, considering it shows how much Jar is likely to reach in order to obtain his peace once more, and it's to go after the people who no longer want him around.
Oh no, I'm going after people who no longer want me to be on YouTube.
They get targeted unfairly. Even outside of that, seeing Jar going on these trips of megalomania in order to rip apart those who were of the old ACC makes me wonder what the actual motive is behind his doing so.
Me getting harassed on and off again for 10 years, and also witnessing the same thing happening to other people like Akumu and Antunes. And I guess also with Hopeless Peaches, but yeah, she kind of went downhill pretty fast.
Jar just needs to wisen up and really consider what he's about to do, but also why he is so willing to throw himself headfirst into it in the first place. Is it the potential rise in numbers that is giving him such a confidence boost?
What? No, my numbers are doing poorly right now. Sure, they went up in September, but only by a little. Did you not watch my video? I will admit, I need to be more humble. I shouldn't be as confident as I am. When I go into a drama with the expectation that I'm gonna get cancelled, that's when I do my best. So, yeah, thank you for making this video on me, Vincent. It probably saved me in the long run.
Considering his bitching in the video before this one.
I wasn't bitching in that video, I was just telling my fans what was going on. Kind of funny that you didn't play any clips from that video to prove your point. Let me play a clip from that video to see if your allegation holds up. Even if things are rough for me right now, I'm still happy to make it as far as I have. I've seen lots of YouTubers work harder and for longer than me, and not even hit 100k subscribers. I've seen dozens, if not hundreds of YouTubers get cancelled or give up. I've interacted with YouTubers who started later than me, but still surpassed me, and rightfully so, their content is amazing. Oh my god, only a whiny bitch would say something like that. This is the exact same thing Prismate Luke tried to pull on me. I made a video explaining what was going on to my fans, I show that my numbers are really low, and that I'll be trying to get them back up. And Prismate Luke just had this to say.
Made another video about it, complaining about being a bandwagon.
I swear, half the people who make videos on me try to make me seem like the most pathetic person ever.
Perhaps he could long for the days of success brought on by tearing into those around him, which had done bad.
Yes, I'm like Cell from Dragon Ball. I will absorb them into me and achieve my perfect form once again. Bro, I really don't expect to get success out of this. If I want to get my numbers back up, the best way to go about that for me is doing full reviews of series that are really woke. Right now, I pretty much have nothing to lose. If you want to say I'm just doing this for views, you can, but that doesn't debunk any of my arguments.
I'll need to see more of this myself, but for now, he certainly hasn't gained any old supporters back from the ACC.
Good, I'm glad.
But acting as a figure holier than thou was never going to work to begin with.
I don't really think I was acting holier than thou, but even if I was, my plan was never to get the ArtCC audience to watch my videos. So yeah, that's the end of VincentSkullMan's latest video on me. I gotta say, it's at least better than most videos I've seen on me. At least I had to take the L once in a while. And on one hand, I am happy that Vincent made this video. I gotta be more cautious when it comes to ArtCC dramas. If I don't, I might get a lot of backlash. But on the other hand, I think this video was a bit unnecessary. A lot of the points were pretty nitpicky, and he seemed to be pretty mad at me throughout the video. Where's this anger coming from? I didn't do anything to you. You made a bad video on me, I tried to talk things out with you, and that led to you getting bashed. I didn't mean for that to happen, not in the least bit, and I do apologize for recording the call I had with you without your permission. I understand that Lio and Lin Lin to a much lesser extent are getting bashed, but I'm pretty much doing perfectly fine. I understand you want to have justice for what happened to you, but coming after me is not the way to go about it. Your last video on me wasn't very good because you didn't have the full picture, and this video also wasn't very good because you also didn't know the full picture. I'm going to be working on more and more ArtCC videos, and once they're all out, you'll be able to take a step back, see the big picture, and realize, oh, that's what was going on. Oh, now I see. Please give me some time, and I'll do a much better job with them than I did with my last ArtCC video. In fact, I think I'm already doing that. I put way more effort into this video on you than I did with that video. Anyways, now let's move on to my ending thoughts, which haven't aged the best, mainly because I recorded them before I even started on the script for my ArtCC video.
Bitch, I nut to Jaden Animation.
I truly believe that Vincent does mean well, and he does have a lot of potential, but he just keeps pissing people off unintentionally. He's been called out by Doodle Tones, Lin Lin, and now me. One of the main reasons why I stayed around Lyle Convoy for as long as I did is because I could use him to talk things out with people in private. Boy howdy, I did not expect things to get this complicated for so long. Vincent, I'm sorry if you get sent hate because of my video, but when people are coming to the conclusion that I side with groomers from your video, I need to say something. I'm not saying that was your intention, but people in this corner of the internet can do very weird things. I haven't made a video on anyone in the ArtCC for over a year, but they're still talking about me and spreading rumors about me. I've had drama off and on with ArtCC people for roughly a decade at this point. Aside from Kai, Omnia, and Daft Pina, I've never started it. I also guess I did a video on Peaches first, but I took that video down, gave them all the money that video made, and did multiple videos defending them. The ArtCC is terrified of me. They've been constantly talking shit about me in Discords because they're too afraid to say it publicly. I understand that that's the price of fame. The more and more famous you get, the more and more people will hate you, and the more and more rumors will be spread about you. I personally don't believe the allegations against Michael Jackson. However, a lot of people do. But the thing is, I've received more harassment from the ArtCC than the power scaling community, the other commentary communities, the anti-woke community, the anti-SJW community, BreadTube, and every other community I've interacted with combined. I've tried everything, restarting my CO author persona to just a robot, ignoring them, fighting against them, working with them, interacting with them. I've even tried to talk things out with them privately, and even that creates issues. Fighting against the ArtCC is like fighting against a Hydra. I've outlasted pretty much every single person I've had drama with. Prismate Luke is gone, Doodle Tones is gone, The Name's Junkie is gone, and so on. And it's not just me, look at people like Antunes and Akumu. Neither of them started it with the ArtCC. Okay, well, maybe Akumu did, but he didn't even have 100 subs at the time. The exact second someone in this community does a video on you, the entire ArtCC will hate you forever no matter what you do. I know a lot of you are gonna say, oh well, it's finally burning down now, Jar. Heh, yeah, I heard the same thing when the Mr. Medicare drama happened, when the AltCC versus NeoCC drama happened, when the Tobi drama happened, and so on and so forth. Sure, Hopeless Peaches and Doodle Tones may be gone, Lio Convoy is holding on by a thread, and a bunch of other people also left, but there will always be more to replace them. I've won basically every single drama I've been in with ArtCC people, but they never seem to learn. I know a lot of people in the ArtCC don't like me, and I know a lot of you who are fans of me are sick of me responding to videos like this. Hopefully, one day I will be able to ignore them, but for now I'm just so paranoid that people will come across videos like these and say, why didn't Jar respond to this? Or maybe these same people will find a new target that they can slander. Anyways, I'm gonna get started on my Leo Convoy video now. No matter what I say in it, it's gonna get me slandered by at least a few people, so wish me luck.